We know NOCO. From Town Square Media, this is Tuned Into NOCO. I'm Ashley Milas. How's it going, NOCO? Welcome into the show. Today we have the founder and CEO of Wisdo Health with us, Boaz Ghion. Boaz, let's just go ahead and jump in here and talk about Wisdo Health. What do you guys do?
Well, we've taken on what we believe is one of the biggest challenges in healthcare, which is the rising tide of loneliness in social isolation. The current Surgeon General of the U.S., Vivek Murthy, has been referring to this as a loneliness epidemic that is affecting 60% of the employed American population and 40% of people who are older adults, people who are 60 plus. Various reasons to this, but from a healthcare perspective and kind of urgency, this is overshadowing mental and physical health in a very big way.
Really?
So we've come up with what we like to call a social health platform. We believe that social health is a intrinsic part of a whole person's health, much like exercise and fitness and nutrition. You need to take care of the levels of social support that surround you and are available to you. Because one of the best definitions that I've heard of loneliness, and this is coming straight from Dr. Murthy, is that a gap between the relationships that you have in your life and the relationships that you would like to have. But they seem not to be accessible to you for various reasons. So we've taken on that problem. We spent years on studying how to overcome this challenge, and we think we came up with something pretty effective.
Yeah, and you guys launched this platform, a pilot form of this platform last year. How does the platform work?
So it's a digital app that can be accessed via iOS or Android smartphones or through a web application, which you can find on our website. What we do is we first invite people to indicate where they identify the biggest gaps in their social support network. So essentially, what are they going through right now in life that is highlighting a sense of, I don't know enough people who've been through this and who can provide social and emotional support of the type that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So it may be, anxiety, it may be depression, it may be issues that have to do with family, might be motherhood, might be caregiving, might be loss. But you're going through stuff, and all of us do, that is highlighting the sense of, in this area, my social support network is not as robust and strong as I would like it to be. Okay. And then what we do, which is really where Wisdo is different, we take the next step and say, much like a good friend, okay, so you come to me because you're going through, for example, caregiving, and you're looking for other people who are also taking care of other people. I know a lot of people who are going through this. They're all on Wisdo, but to make sure I make the best connections, here are specific moments along the way that are part of the caregiving journey, again, or the anxiety journey or the loneliness journey. And it would be very helpful to us if you could indicate from this list what are specific events that you've been through, what are specific events that you're going through right now, and what are events that you haven't gone through but you would like to go through. So sort of a past, present, future kind of onboard.
Okay.
The last step, which is kind of the second part of this, is a baseline measurement that we invite people to submit so we can have a good idea of where they are when they join, because every single month, we're going to revisit these questions to make sure that the connections that we make available on the app and the recommendations that are presented to people based on what they've indicated are able to reduce loneliness rates, are able to increase quality of life rates, and are able to reduce depression and anxiety rates as well.
Right.
And if not, we make adjustments. So that is how we work.
That's really cool. So it is really molded specifically to every user. That's
Absolutely.
Great. Now, do you have any specific user results you'd like to share with our listeners on how this app has helped?
Absolutely. So as you said, we were fortunate enough to partner with Peer Assistance Services, which is a Colorado-based nonprofit that provides mental health and behavioral health solutions to citizens of the state of Colorado. We launched a pilot to measure our impact, and we were thrilled to see a significant reduction in loneliness rates. We saw 18% reduced in measurements that are known as a UCLA scale. So the good news is, very quickly, since loneliness has become such a problem, healthcare has produced a scale which measures loneliness, and healthcare views as trusted, much like a COVID test would measure COVID, or a blood test would measure vital signs that have to do with blood. There's a list of questions at the end of which there's going to be an assessment of whether you're lonely, very lonely, severely lonely, or no, not lonely at all, which obviously all of us kind of hope for.
Right.
But what we saw is, by asking these questions when people joined, and then asking that questions 90 days after people joined, we saw an 18% reduction in loneliness. We saw a 22% increase in quality of life. We saw a 23% reduction in anxiety. We saw a 31% success rate in referring people to additional services that were available to them through some of our partners.
Yeah.
And it was really it was a wow, because it was sort of kind of being given the opportunity to see how powerful a supportive community can be, because all we did, quote unquote, is we mimicked something that humanity has done for hundreds of years, which is to search those people in the community that have been through similar things and can be supportive to us, that for some reason, unfortunately, has become increasingly difficult as all of us go to more traditional social networks that rank people and connect people not based on helpfulness, but rather by how popular they are, or how many friends they have, or what type of picture do they have, which is all great, but is not necessarily the best way to connect people with the goal of helping them feel less lonely.
Yeah. And I think I remember they did a study on social media, and they found that you actually become more depressed and down using it. So it's nice to actually have an app on your phone that will help prevent that. That's great.
Yeah. I think we're the only social support network that doesn't have a like button.
Yeah. That's great.
Yes, and that's not coincidental. Just like, to echo what you say, I think there are a lot of kind of little pieces in the traditional social network experience that in the long run puts you in a place where you're trying to get affirmations from other people on the network, rather than being successful in finding support from other people, and maybe even supporting them if they need that type of engagement.
For sure. Now, I know you went into how the app works, but what can people expect? How do you use the app?
You pick up your phone. If it's an Android, you go to Google Play. If it's an iPhone, you go to the App Store. Very, very easy to download. I think that the part of why we're so excited is we're essentially inviting people to do something that they know how to do. I think by now, most of us know how to chat online. We've done this a zillion times. We probably do it more than once a day. The issue is that the connections that we make on the platforms that allow us to chat with other people is not necessarily making the connections with the right criteria of health in mind, nor do they take the time and trouble to monitor on a monthly basis whether indeed these connections increase our sense of connection, or rather increase a sense of disconnection. So we took something that everyone knows how to do, or many people know how to do, obviously not everyone, and we just spent time on studying the science behind connection making that can increase support, and then we do that again and again and again and make sure that if we see measurements not increasing and not improving, then we can make adjustments. And since we already have hundreds of thousands of people on the app, then we have a very rich kind of pool of helpful individuals that we can try and reach out to make sure that you can find that one person or two people or six people that would make you feel supported, would make you feel of worth, which is another really important idea. That would increase a sense of belonging and would help you feel that you can also help other people. And I just went through the 4 pillars of social health.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. It sounds like a really great platform. Now, for somebody who wants to look up this app, is it called Wisdo?
It is.
Perfect. You guys heard that. Look up the app. You can download it. It's called Wisdo. That's Wisdo. For more info, you can also head to wisdo.com. Now, kind of going back here a little bit, how did this platform start? What's the story?
So, these things usually start with a personal experience. So, I'll have to bore you with mine. I was fortunate to have a very well-known dad down here, which is in Tel Aviv, Israel, which is where I'm calling from. He was also president of the Israel Cancer Association, so very kind of, active individual and involved in philanthropy and involved in business. And then to his and our amazement, 2 years into his term as president of the Israel Cancer Association, he got diagnosed with cancer and eventually developed 3 different types of primary cancers, which ended up, and it's still hard to talk about it, but ended up, with him passing away after 8 very long years of struggle. And I think that experience, and I know I'm not surprising anyone on this call, when you go through something as challenging as cancer or caregiving, in my case, then you somehow find yourself kind of saying, well, I get the clinical stuff. I know what to do. I understand that I need to go to the hospital. And when I go to the clinical path, I kind of get a sense that, people have put thought into what I need to do and when. So yes, they're challenged on that front, but you feel that you're benefiting from the wisdom and experience of millions of other patients who've been through this before on the clinical front. But on the mental health front, on the social health front, you feel incredibly alone. And suddenly you feel the mismatch between the products that are out there that we all go to find connections and how they are not doing what you were hoping that they would do because you're not as authentic as you would like to be on those platforms, because you're maybe afraid to be very honest, because people can ridicule if you and your family and your loved ones, if you say something that is perceived to be not as whatever popular in that moment. So that experience was very painful. Out of that, after kind of promising my dad that I'd do something about it, we got together a bunch of friends and said, maybe we can come up with a better way to do this. And eventually launched a first version of Wisdo around 2017. And then in 2020, when COVID came around and suddenly, loneliness and social isolation was something that the entire globe was experiencing, this whole issue suddenly became something that healthcare in general is looking at as a real threat and condition, which is, how we were given opportunities to work with various organizations. And one of them was Peer Assistance Services.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, guys, definitely head to wisdo.com. That's Wisdo.com. It's an app that you can download as well on your Android or iOS device. Just look up Wisdo. Again, that's Wisdo. This app is really amazing. It helps create meaningful connections to improve your health. Again, definitely head to their website if you want more information. That is wisdo.com. Boaz, thank you so much for being here. This has been great. Before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
Well, I want people to know that they don't need to be alone. They don't need to feel alone. There are enough people in this world that can help them and even would like to help them. It's just a matter of finding these individuals. So don't lose hope. Those people are out there. You can find them, and if you feel that we can help, then by all means, go to the website, go to the app stores, download Wisdo. Doesn't cost any money at all. It's free to download, free to use, and hopefully we can help you find the support that you deserve.
Absolutely. Boaz, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to What Matters in NoCo. I'm Ashley Milas with Town Square Media's Tuned Into NoCo. If you missed part of the show, you can find it on your Town Square Media station app or website. If you or your organization would like to be considered for Tuned Into NoCo, send me an email at ashley.milas@townsquaremedia.com. That's ASHLEE.MEEHLEIS@townsquaremedia.com.